Thank you very much, Chairperson. With heavy heart, deep pain and a great concern for our beloved trans community, I rise here to oppose the bill, Madam, on behalf of the DMK party, presided over by our Honorable Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, who has been a warrior or a pioneer of transgender rights. I oppose the bill because it's not merely a question of bill, but it is a question of human rights, survival of a community with dignity. So, Madam, today I rise not merely to oppose a bill, I rise here to oppose an idea that the state can decide who you are, an idea that identity must be verified before dignity is granted, an idea that rights are conditional upon certification. So I rise to oppose the bill. Madam, let me begin with a poem written by Lee Moko, a South African slam poet and an activist who has very powerfully and painfully explained in a poem his trans experience. I quote thus: "No one ever thinks of us as humans because we are more than ghost than flesh. Because people fear that my gender expression is a trick, that it exists to be perverse, that it ensnares them without their consent, that my body is a feast for their eyes and hands, and once they were fed off my cure, they will regurgitate all the parts they did not like. They'll put me back into the closet, hang me with all the other skeletons. I will be the best attraction. I wonder how long it will be before the trans suicide notes start to feel redundant, before we realize that our bodies become lessons about sin, way before we learn how to love them." Madam, these voices all over India, all over Tamil Nadu, all over the world, which should have been heard, were not heard, not consulted before bringing this bill, Madam. Madam, let me begin with the Honorable Supreme Court's seminal verdict itself. In Nalsa versus Union of India, the court seminally declared self-identified gender is integral to personal autonomy and dignity. Yet this bill attempts something extraordinary. It attempts to legislate a doubt. It attempts to replace constitutional morality with administrative superstition. That is why we strongly oppose this bill, Madam. Madam, this is not a technical correction. This is not a harmless clarification. It's a constitutional regression. It is a bill that pretends to protect while actually narrowing identity, expanding surveillance, and reintroducing state control over the most personal truth a human being can hold: who they are. Madam, I would like to ask, through you, Madam, has the law asked any cis person to identify themselves through a medical board, Madam? So before I explore the intricacies of this bill, I would like to just remind you, this House, of the statement the Honorable Prime Minister himself said on the last day of the 17th Lok Sabha regarding this trans community, Madam. I quote, "Members of the 17th Lok Sabha expressed concern for them and sought to ensure a better life for them. The world discusses what India has done for transgenders. We have given transgenders an identity. As many as 16,000 to 17,000 from the community have been given identity cards." Today, just 2 years later, his own government brings a bill that seeks to take that identity back. What changed? Was the identity real then and inconvenient now? Or was it only a political slogan? The contradictions do not end here, Madam. On 11th March, this government told the Lok Sabha that rejections of transgender identity certificates were merely due to minor document mismatches. But on the existing definition is vague, impossible to administer. Let me ask, Madam, which version should the country believe, Madam? The earlier version or the March 13th version? 30,000 identity certificates have been already issued. What happens to those citizens, Madam, now? Will their identities be repealed, reopened? Will their dignity be placed under fresh scrutiny. Also, another matter of grave concern is that the national before bringing this bill. Even when they had an appointment with the Honourable Minister's office, they were not given convincing answers, madam, and no stakeholders were actually consulted before bringing these draconian amendments to this bill, ma'am. That is why we oppose. Madam, there is a larger and deeply troubling pattern emerging. This government increasingly seeks to regulate every sphere of personal life, what we eat, who we love, what we watch, what we write. After polarizing citizens along religion, caste, now it's gender identity, which is now it's a frontier control in this form. Madam, we should not forget the simple truth. You cannot certify a human soul through a medical board. Identity is a fundamental right, not a government permit, madam.
Absolutely right.
Madam, before I just explore the objectives of the bill, I would like to just point out a few points in what way Tamil Nadu under Mr. M.K. Stalin's leadership has shown dignity and inclusion, not in slogans, but in policy decisions. In 2008, DMK in Tamil Nadu, under the leadership of the then Chief Minister Dr. Kalaignar, was the pioneering state in establishing the first transgender welfare board. First state among all the states of India. That was not tokenism, it was pioneering governance, madam. The state has since used respectful terms like Thirunangai and Thirunambi in official communication. Well, this bill is addressing them as Aravani, the different types of trans community, eunuch. Those are all cliched, undone nomenclatures that are done away in official communications because they are offensive usage of terms which are attached with certain sigma, but the bill is using all those nomenclature. Tamil Nadu has supported identity cards, ration cards, house pattas, pensions, free travel in ordinary city buses, scholarships, skill training and livelihood without demeaning their dignity. TN was the first state to provide free gender-affirming surgery in government hospitals. Tamil Nadu, under the DMK government, included access to gender-affirming healthcare in state health schemes. It has also taken important steps of banning forced intersex surgeries without interfering in their dignity as a human right. They have been upkept. In the 2025, our present Chief Minister Thalapathy M.K. Stalin has brought out a marvelous state policy for transgender person, first state in India, madam. Tamil Nadu's that policy explicitly commits itself to self-identification without mandatory medical certification, and that is what we demand here also. This is the model of the governors at Tamil Nadu's. The union government should learn from that, not undermine. Tamil Nadu has also shown what inclusive public life means. It was the first state to introduce a third gender option in college application forms. It has enabled transgender persons to enter public service, including the recent landmark case of K. Pritika Yashini in the police force. Tamil Nadu has advanced police sensitization and anti-harassment guidelines. It has recognized that rights do not end recognition. Rights must enter schools, hospitals, buses, offices and homes. That is the Dravidian model, madam. That is the politics of equality, inclusion, which our Chief Minister practices. Madam, let me examine the statement of objects and reasons. The government says the legislative policy was intended to protect only those who face severe social exclusion due to biological reasons for no fault of their own. Madam, this may sound superficially empathetic. People may misunderstand that, oh, this government is actually approaching them with a kind heart, but that isn't. Let me ask a few questions, madam, through you. Who decides what counts as biological? Who decides what counts as severe? And who gave the state the authority to measure oppression? Is discrimination against trans men less severe? Is violence against non-binary persons less real? Is humiliation in schools, hospitals, workplaces somehow less painful because it does not fit in a biological checklist? How can you adapt a biological checklist to all the matters which I have listed above, madam? Oppression is not a laboratory category, madam. It's a lived reality. The bill further says Madam, I'm the only speaker. I have 15 minutes, please.
Go on.
The Act was not meant to protect each and every class of persons with various gender identities. Madam, it's very ironical. The Constitution assures freedom, every citizen should be protected, and it is a constitutional right, and it's a reversal of it. Since when did the government acquire the power to rank identities, madam? When did dignity become selective? When did rights become exclusionary privileges? Madam, it's difficult. Is it difficult to stop discrimination? Is it difficult to ensure employment? Is it difficult to provide health care? Or is it simply difficult to accept diversity? Provide all these provisions, all these assurances in your bill, and then make it effective, and then talk about anything in the real sense of the word. If the law struggles with complexity, the answer is not erasure, madam. It is better governance. This bill is sheer erasure and not better governance, madam. The government says identification must not be based on personal choice or self-perceived identity. This is perhaps the most dangerous line and the most revealing, most objectionable aspect of this bill, madam, because what it really means is the state does not trust transgender persons. The state believes identity must be certified. The state believes autonomy is negotiable. This is moral regression, moral policing. This bill removes the statutory right to self-identification. It replaces it with medical boards. It requires scrutiny. Let me ask a simple question, ma'am. Does a cisgender citizen, a man or a woman, require a medical certificate to be recognized as a man or a woman in this country?
Absolutely.
Will it be different with the trans men then? Aren't we all the same? It is purely a human right issue, violation of human rights, dignity, madam. Madam, I have time, please, madam.
Please conclude.
Madam, I have 5 more minutes, please, ma'am. Ma'am, this bill, in plain words, it says, show us, tell us, prove us who you are, and then we will decide whether to believe it or not. This bill narrows the definition of transgender person so sharply that it excludes trans women, trans men, non-binary persons, gender-queer persons, unless they fit in the rigid biological or socio-cultural checklist. What kind of legislation is this, ma'am? I'm just browsing it quickly through, ma'am. Please give me. This bill is, again, an infiltration into the right of privacy. The privacy is here infiltrated. The Supreme Court case, just in the Justice case, Puttanaswamy versus Union of India, made it a fundamental right, and this bill goes against that, man. Again, freezing identity into traditional boxes like such as Hijra, Aravani, Kinnar, or other similar traditional community structures is again a dangerous concern. It is like fragmenting them, not including all the trans men. So, the bill also claims to protect criminalizing.
Please conclude.
Ma'am, 2 minutes.
Conclude.
I'm the only speaker, ma'am. I'm concluding. Just 2 minutes. Criminalizing coercion, abduction, forced labor, forced identity, and bodily harm. I understand the concerns, ma'am, but you are not saying that you're protecting trans people if you are just bringing this, because the concern is transgender and queer persons with disabilities have warned that this bill will push them further to the margins. By casting suspicions on caregivers, support systems, it threatens the very network that enables survival. This approach contradicts the spirit of rights of persons with disabilities. Madam, this is not a policy debate. It is about the very survival. Madam, why is the law collapsing victimhood into identity? Why is it using penal consent to redraw the meaning of gender itself, madam? One few concerns which I would like to reiterate. Madam, please, 1 minute, madam. I'm concluding, madam. The larger political question is, over the past decade, we have seen this BJP government's troubling pattern. Rights are reframed as privileges. Autonomy is reframed as risk. Diversity reframed as disorder. Madam, I have a few questions through you to the government. Why are you asking the transgender community to trust a law that begins by doubting them? Why are you deleting self-identification when Supreme Court has already affirmed it? Why are you introducing medical gatekeeping when the world is moving away from it? Why are you using the language of safety to produce insecurity? Madam, the Constitution does not say you are free, however subject to approval. I would like to quote Foucault, finally the greatest philosopher. He says, the purpose of constant surveillance is to compel prisoners to regard themselves as subject of correction. The purpose of constant surveillance is not to scare prisoners who are thinking of escaping, but rather to compel them to regard themselves as subject to correction. This government treats the trans community as subjects to be corrected, which is highly condemnable. Madam, this bill on these principles, Tamil Nadu stands for social justice, dignity and inclusive governance. On these principles, we reject the bill, the DMK reject the bill, withdraw the bill at the very least, refer this bill to the Parliamentary Standing Committee. A nation is not judged by how it treats its powerful, madam. It's judged by how it treats those whose voices are not easiest to ignore. Withdraw this draconian bill, madam.
Very good.